We'll return to that with the latest developments throughout the hour, but now the US President Donald Trump is meeting the leader of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, on the final day of his visit to the Middle East.
In the city of Manchester in Britain, and that left dozens of dead and injured and innocent people. And I would like to express my sincere condolences to the British Prime Minister and to the families of the victims and to the British people. Your Excellency, the President, our meeting here in Bethlehem in the White House at the beginning of this month gave us the Palestinian people and has injected more optimism and hope in the possibility to achieve a dream and aspiration that we have been waiting for, which is a lasting peace and based on justice. Our people to get its freedom and independence is the key to peace and stability in our region and the whole world, so that the children of Palestine and the children of Israel would have a secure and stable and prosperous future. I would like to reiterate, Mr. President, our commitment to cooperate with you to achieve peace and to achieve a historic, peaceful agreement between us and the Israelis. And we also reiterate our readiness to continue work with you as partners to combat terrorism in our region and the world. To this effect, I salute the importance of the Arab Islamic American Summit that was held and the results achieved. Your Excellency, President, I would like to stress to you once again our stance based on the solution of two states, based on the 64 borders, the State of Palestine, whose capital is Jerusalem, to live side by side with the State of Israel in peace, security and good neighborhood, and to solve all the other issues based on international legality and charters, and to respect the agreed agreement which will pave the way to achieve the Arab Peace Initiative, which was reiterated during the last summit in Riyadh. Mr. President, as you saw yesterday during your historic visit to the sacred places in Jerusalem, and in the occupied eastern Jerusalem, and today in Bethlehem, the conflict is not between religions. The respect of religions and prophets, it's part and parcel of our belief. And we are eager to open dialogue with our Israeli neighbors, with all walks, from all walks of life, so that to consolidate the trust and to create a genuine opportunity for peace. Our basic problem is with the occupation and the settlement and the lack of recognition by Israel of the Palestinian state as we have recognized it, which constrains the establishment of the two states. The problem is not between us and with the religious Judaism, but it is with occupation. We respect Judaism. I would like to raise the point about the issue of our Palestinian hangers who have been on hunger strike for months, more than a month, not far from here, everywhere in Palestine, and the suffering of the mothers and the families who are being prevented from visiting their sons, and their demands are humane and legitimate. I would like to ask the Israeli government to respond to these human, legitimate demands. To achieve peace, Mr. President, will open horizons wide open for the progress of our economy and our national institutes based on the state of law, within the spirit of tolerance and coexistence and spread of this culture of peace and denunciation of terror, and to build bridges instead of walls inside our territories. Once again, Mr. President, I salute you, and I salute the delegation with you, and I welcome you in Palestine, the sacred land, and I wish you success in your important trip that will lead you to meet His Holiness the Pope Francis, whose effort we admire and we estimate, and we wish you all success and health.
American president who achieved peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis. Mr. President, I extend my hand to you to be your partner in this noble and possible mission.
Thank you very much. As President of the United States, on behalf of the people of the United States, I would like to begin by offering my prayers to the people of Manchester in the United Kingdom. I extend my deepest condolences to those so terribly injured in this terrorist attack, and to the many killed and the families, so many families, of the victims. We stand in absolute solidarity with the people of the United Kingdom. So many young, beautiful, innocent people living and enjoying their lives murdered by evil losers in life. I won't call them monsters because they would like that term. They would think that's a great name. I will call them from now on losers, because that's what they are. They're losers. And we'll have more of them. But they're losers. Just remember that. This is what I've spent these last few days talking about during my trip overseas. Our society can have no tolerance for this continuation of bloodshed. We cannot stand a moment longer for the slaughter of innocent people. And in today's attack, it was mostly innocent children. The terrorists and extremists and those who give them aid and comfort must be driven out from our society forever. This wicked ideology must be obliterated, and I mean completely obliterated, and the innocent life must be protected. All innocent lives. Life must be protected. All civilized nations must join together to protect human life and the sacred right of our citizens to live in safety and in peace. I want to offer my deep appreciation to the Palestinians and President Abbas for hosting me today. It's an honor to join you in Bethlehem, the city that is precious to people from all over the world. It's a precious city. As I discussed with President Abbas in Washington earlier this month, I am committed to trying to achieve a peace agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians, and I intend to do everything I can to help them achieve that goal. President Abbas assures me he is ready to work toward that goal in good faith, and Prime Minister Netanyahu has promised the same. I look forward to working with these leaders toward a lasting peace. I also look forward to working with President Abbas on other important matters, such as unlocking the potential of the Palestinian economy, which is having a very rough time, and building on our very positive counterterrorism efforts. Several days ago in Saudi Arabia, I met with the leaders of the Muslim world and Arab nations from all across the region. It was an epic gathering. It was a historic event. King Salman of Saudi Arabia could not have been kinder, and I will tell you, he is a very wise man. I called on these leaders and asked them to join in a partnership to drive terrorism from their midst once and for all. It was a deeply productive meeting. People have said there has really never been anything even close in history. I believe that. Being there and seeing who was there and hearing the spirit and a lot of love, there has never been anything like that in history. And it was an honor to be involved, but great things can come from that meeting. I was gratified that President Abbas joined the summit and committed to taking firm but necessary steps to fight terrorism and confront its hateful ideology. And it's so interesting that our meeting took place on this very horrible morning of death to innocent young people. Peace can never take root in an environment where violence is tolerated, funded, and even rewarded. We must be resolute in condemning such acts in a single, unified voice. Peace is a choice we must make each day, and the United States is here to help make that dream possible for young Jewish, Christian, and Muslim children all across the region. In so doing, we will all enjoy a safer and brighter future and a safer and brighter world. In this spirit of hope, we come to Bethlehem, asking God for a more peaceful, safe, and far more tolerant world for all of us. I am truly hopeful that America can help Israel and the Palestinians forge peace and bring new hope to the region and its people. I also firmly believe that if Israel and the Palestinians can make peace, it will begin a process of peace all throughout the Middle East, and that would be an amazing accomplishment. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
President Trump, President Abbas, both talking about their hopes for peace, their new hopes for peace, also talking about partnership. President Abbas at the end of his remarks in Arabic saying in English, and looking at President Trump saying, I extend my hand to you to work for what he called a noble and a possible mission. President Trump responding by talking about his readiness to work with President Abbas and saying that that is what he also heard from Prime Minister Netanyahu last night, that he too wants to work to try to revive the peace process. That's been a consistent theme ever since he arrived here, that not only that this is one of the toughest deals of all, but he believes that this is a deal that he can play a role in achieving. President Abbas, of course, giving more details about what that peace would have to look like, talking about ending the occupation, talking about what he described as the Palestinians' human and legitimate demands. But of course, there is a very terrible backdrop to all this. Both leaders began their remarks expressing condolences to the victims of the bombing in Manchester in the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Netanyahu has already sent a message expressing his sorrow and underlining about the threat of terrorism, which was a worldwide threat. Our correspondent Yolande Knell is in Bethlehem listening to that address. Yolande, they said a lot of the right things. How will it go down in Bethlehem?
Well, I think still it's quite vague what new things President Trump is bringing to the table here. He hasn't laid out his position on things like settlements on land that the Palestinians want for their future state. Of course, Israel doesn't recognize the fact that these are seen under international law as being illegal, and the Palestinians have previously demanded there should be a settlement freeze before there could be a return to peace talks. There are also other issues like Jerusalem, which he has carefully skirted around during his trip. So people really would think that he's restated previous statements here, as has President Abbas. They've met 3 times in just the past few weeks, and he will have heard repeatedly from President Abbas that the Palestinians want a commitment to a 2-state solution that would see the creation of a Palestinian state in the West Bank, Gaza Strip, with East Jerusalem as their capital. There has been no departure on that basis. And when I've spoken to some of the local people, there is skepticism here about whether this business-like approach that President Trump is offering really can bring anything new to the table. People are very cautious, in particular about this idea of economic incentives for the Palestinians. They say that what is required is to end the Israeli occupation of Palestinian lands that have been going on for 50 years now. There were some pledges by the Israelis, goodwill gestures as demanded by the Trump team, to make some economic gestures, for example, extending the hours that Palestinians can cross into Jordan on the main border crossing that is controlled by Israel with the West Bank. Also some other measures like giving Palestinians more permits to build in Area C of the West Bank. That's more than 60% of the West Bank, where Israel, since the 1993 Oslo Peace Accords, has retained full administrative and military control. So at the moment, no real signs of how there would be some efforts to bring the 2 sides together. On both sides, still the positions of the Israeli leader and the Palestinian leader remain the same. So how is President Trump going to bridge the gap?
Yes, indeed, President Trump did talk about unlocking the potential of the Palestinian economy, saying it was in a tough time. And we heard from the Israeli Minister of Diplomacy yesterday, acknowledging that there had to be more, but saying this was a beginning to try to ease the pressures and free up some of the resources and possibilities in the Palestinian economy. But there's another thing which President Trump is now bringing to these discussions. He referred to what he described as his epic meeting at the Riyadh summit, and in a very President Trump way, saying that never has there been such a productive meeting. But we do know that some of the Arab leaders, particularly along the Persian Gulf, including Saudi Arabia, are now willing to be part of a broader Arab-Israeli peace initiative. Does that matter to the Palestinians? I know that the issues are at home, but having a greater solidarity?
I think so, because the Palestinians' position is really bolstered by this greater regional involvement. It was also the big theme of the Arab summit that took place in Jordan just over a month ago as well. It put the Israel-Palestinian conflict back at the heart of a regional agenda. And I think President Trump sees that there is common interest when it comes to a threat from Iran, with the Gulf Arab countries and Israel, things that he can use to bring them together. But of course, this idea of an Arab peace initiative, which was originally proposed by Saudi Arabia, has been on the table for 15 years now, proposing diplomatic relations with Israel for the creation of a Palestinian state.
Yolande Knell, we'll return to you again, but thank you very much for being with us as we continue our special coverage of President Trump's visit today, his second day. It's begun in Bethlehem. When his meetings there conclude, he'll head back to Jerusalem. He's going to visit Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial, and from there he will give his major address of this stop of his first overseas visit at the Israel Museum. We'll continue our special coverage, but for now, back to you in London.
OK, Lise, many thanks. Lise Doucette there for us.